the stream on. You know, you might be at home on your PC, but you maybe got an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One you want to watch on your big TV, or you got one of the set-top boxes. But these are all the ways you can watch the stream. Obviously, we're down to one stream today. Every match will be on this main stream, and that's how you can keep an eye on everything. And that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Players are still getting warmed up, getting set up, and we will come back and we will absolutely break down this first matchup. Na'Vi taking on mousesports. Be back after the break, folks.
Smiths will chime in with one apiece, so Get Right, all that's left is in a 1-on-3. Does get the first, doesn't have that bomb down, does get the second. He looks like he might pull this off. Get Right, the master. Oh, he sees him. Get Right, the most unbelievable 1v3 in the absolute pivotal time. Put him down as a result. Smith's still in the back of the side. Kiyoshima there holding B magically, but no, Peter's gonna get another one. And now it's Smith's overwhelmed in the back of sight, and Peter magical in the magic moment, and he gets a third. Peter, are you happy? absolutely out of your mind because I couldn't predict this.
Toodle at 100, Roka with 41, and Ska's got himself a 3K, so the save of that rifle is gigantic. Lex takes him down, though. 1 versus 1 battle here. Lex versus Roka. Who's going to come out on top? Lex with less HP, and he gets it with only 4 HP.
All right, folks, welcome back to the MLG Arena. The final day, Sunday, here in Columbus, Ohio. CEVO, Season 7 LAN Finals. First match of the day, obviously Na'Vi taking on mousesports. Before we get to that, we got a housekeeping note. We just announced some Season 8 details for CEVO, so we're going to show you a fancy graphic, walk you through all that stuff. I think one of the coolest things they're announcing is in November, coming right back here. Now, I don't know if we're going to come right back here. We might
Negotiations.
We might not have been. I don't think we've been offensive enough to get fired, but who knows? No. You hopefully will be playing in here, in the event and not necessarily be here. But if not, hope you're here. Basically, it's same old stuff. Join up on the website. Here it comes right here. How to register, all sorts of stuff. I don't need to read this to you. You all can read. But basically, I think the big thing is they're announcing that in November, the grand finals will be right here for their LAN finals for Season 8. So that's some cool stuff. And that's the CEVO information. Let's get right into it, gentlemen. mousesports Na'Vi. Let's start talking about Na'Vi.
Okay,
historic.
Sure thing, Scott.
Just that. We're not quite psychic yet.
Well, here's the thing.
Let's walk through the roster first.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So on the left, top left, Flamey here, the newest member of the team. He's actually, compared to these players, they're reasonably inexperienced, even in CS:GO. Like, I think the first big LAN we saw him at was the major last year at ESL in Katowice in August. So we're talking about someone who's had less than 1 year competing in the big LANs, the international ones, already considered a potential star quality player. Definitely has had a big impact on this team. Some people say MVP of ESWC, which Na'Vi won recently. Then you go right next to him is Edward, the guy with the beard there. He's the opposite of Flamey. This guy's been playing, especially domestically, since like 2003, 2004, a long time. And you can see he's just a veteran, He doesn't get flustered by what goes on. Also known as the Pistol King in both games, especially 1.6. Then we go bottom left here, Zeus, in-game leader of the team. He's really one of those in-game leaders who he fulfills the second part, the leader part. He has the tactics, but he's also the guy who's going to enforce them. He's the general, He's Maximus. You've got to follow him into battle, otherwise he'll let you know about it. Then in the middle, we've got Guardian. He's actually not from the CIS region. He's a guy who he's just the ultimate mercenary, the ultimate hired gun, an amazing AWPer, considered one of the best players in the world. Hasn't had such a great tournament so far, but you'll definitely see that AWP in his hand every time it's available. Bottom right-hand corner, we've got Seized, Russian player here, whereas a couple of the others are from Ukraine. He's a guy where he was like third to last added to the team. He came in after the Edward Markov era when those guys went off and tried to make a start at Dragons. He came in. Initially, people thought, not expecting too much from him, but he actually early on was kind of what Flamey is now. He was the guy who was breaking out. He was having these crazy AK rounds. People were like, wow, what a skilled player. But now with so many kind of stars within the constellation, he's had to kind of take more of a supportive role. Someone's got to be more the foundational aspect to the team, and I think he's more like he's trying to be more of the stable player.
And then there's six-man StarX.
Yeah.
Got a name in his own right?
I mean, this is a guy that was actually in this lineup. I think it was actually only last year. It was Flamey who actually replaced him. So yeah, we're talking about end of last year. No, it would have been earlier this year, maybe until like March this year. He was still playing. Him and Edward and Zeus, those guys go way back in the Ukrainian scene. And StarX himself, actually, in terms of playing, the first big result ever for a Ukrainian team in Counter-Strike was when they won the bronze medal at WCG 2007, and StarX was a member of the lineup that did that. Interestingly, they beat our friend Lurpus to get to that point in the tournament, so little gift there, little free medal. So. Star maker, as you might call him in many ways. And so the thing with StarX, though, we've mentioned this already, they've got a very interesting dynamic in this team, because like I said, with an in-game leader like Zeus, not just a great tactician, so he's going to mastermind the game, but also like a general, like he's going to decide what happens. StarX's job is not to say, hey Zeus, I think on this round we should do this, like, your calls are off a little bit here, so he's not doing that. His job, interestingly enough, is to keep the team calm, all that stuff, but it's mainly to mentor Flamey. Like you saw yesterday after they lost that second map to Tempo Storm, it was just him and Flamey, and he was just talking to him the whole time. It looked like a teacher looking over like, yeah, you see, you got to divide there and then take the remainder. And Flamey was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So his job is sort of keep Flamey on track. Flamey's a young guy. He's a guy with very good aim, but does his mental aspect fit in with the big concept that Na'Vi have got? And I think Starks is there to keep him on track in that sense.
All right, and obviously their opponent today is going to be mousesports, so we'll take a look at those guys. Again, kind of a new roster, and again, I asked you earlier today, I don't think these two rosters have met at LAN,
Not
right?
on LAN, I don't think. No.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at them then. Here's a third-person view.
There we go.
Okay, here's the team. So I'm gonna have to use process of elimination here, guys, but I believe top left is Nex, and he's considered the star player of the team. I think rightfully so. I mean, in this tournament, he hasn't had to do it as much, actually. His whole team's been quite impressive, particularly some of the other guys who you don't think of in the star role, but every time I see him, he's impressive. His aim's good. He actually, it's not just like a crazy fragger, though. He has good technique to it, and he plays within the system. Like, when Mouse does well as a team, you know he's going to do well. So that's always a good sign when you kind of got some synchronized component between the star and between the identity of the team. Then next to him on the right, I believe, is Dennis. Now, I'm pretty sure I've got that right. He's the guy where I always think of him as more of a supportive player, but actually he was one of the guys yesterday when he was playing against Cloud9, who was, if he actually did play them yesterday, I can't remember if it was yesterday or I assume it was. He was just playing above and beyond the level you'd expect from him. He was actually very, very good. He was dropping 20+ kills. I even saw one round, I think, where he was like open briefly. So yeah, he's actually really surprised me. I think of him as more of a defensive type player. Him, Nex, and then you're going to see Speedy later. They're the core that came from Penta, where that's where they broke out. Made some waves at majors, making top 8s. Then you go bottom left, got Gob B here. This is a mastermind. If you want to use that term within CSGO, which you should do very rarely, just being in a game leader doesn't make you a mastermind. A mastermind is the guy where the idea is he's thinking about everything. He's thinking about his tactics, what he can change on the fly, his prepared tactic, what the other team's going to do. He has that chess player overview where he's thinking of the bigger picture rather than just this headshot and what angle I'm going to take next. Not so great as a player, but again, when you've got that sort of a mind, you can put other people around you who can get the frags. There's very few people who can do that job, be in that hot seat and just be commanding the whole battlefield, you know. Then next to him is Speedy, and like I said, he's another guy from Penta. You think of him in more of a supportive role, you think of some of the other names in the team. He's just a guy where for him and Dennis, the main role is you don't even have to frag that much. Contribute a bit, do what God B says, facilitate the other players. If you can help Chris J, you can set him up, you can back him up, trade for him. If you can make an extra star, you can go in first. Then your team's going to win. You don't need to put frags on the board. And the last guy who was in the bottom right there was Chris J. Not German. He's actually from the Netherlands, and he has a long history going back into 1.6. But he was one of those guys where, yeah, he was in 1.6, but he never made it to the top. So we've already had the first bans here. As expected, Na'Vi takes out Cash. They haven't been played recently, but we know, listen, mousesports beat Cloud9 and Cash yesterday. Yep. Now, what do you think of this, Hiko? mousesports choose to ban Inferno.
Not such a surprise to me. I think Na'Vi has a very good Inferno, and mousesports, I mean, you saw that Na'Vi pick Overpass, and mousesports was all smiling about it. So maybe that was actually, they were planning for that.
Which is interesting, though, because I don't think of Mouse as an Overpass team, whereas I know Na'Vi, I think Na'Vi might be the best team on that map. They're very, very good. Now, mousesports picking Dust 2, not a shock. That is what they picked against Cloud9. That's what they want to play. Na'Vi's going to play it. It used to be a very good map for them. Not as much anymore. So actually, I think that's good for both. Now, here's what's interesting, is that the third ends up being Train. I think here's the thing, both teams like Train. Train's a map where I've actually seen mousesports beat. I think Mouse actually beat Virtus Pro on that when they were at Gfinity. So I know they like it. The problem is that's another Na'Vi map. Like when I look at this series here, okay, Dust 2, I actually am kind of feeling mousesports on that one. I think they've got a good chance there. But when I think of the other two, Overpass, it feels like that has to be Na'Vi. And for Train, even though that's a bit closer, I'm also thinking Na'Vi. Because I think Na'Vi, they might be the best in the world on Train and Overpass. Those are two where I really, really rank them highly. What do you think of Mouse's chances on those maps?
I think I have to agree with you. I think Overpass, Na'Vi is probably too much for mousesports to handle. But you saw mousesports smiling. You saw them happy that Overpass was picked. So maybe that means they were really putting a lot of time last night into preparing for it. Maybe they have some crazy boost that they. Just kidding. But yeah, so Dust 2, definitely mousesports pick. I mean, you can see just in the average rounds on both sides, mousesports averages 10 rounds on T side, whereas Na'Vi averages 8. Again, mousesports, I see mousesports kind of like as an American team. They're good in all the maps the Americans are good on. Dust 2, Inferno, Cash. So Dust 2, I feel like they'll be good on. Train, I think I agree with you. Navi, you have to give the slight edge to them. However, if Chris J is able to pull off some of his, crazy opping he was doing yesterday against Cloud9, I can see CT side being very hard for Navi to take rounds on.
That's the thing, though. When I look at this one here, I actually think if mousesports can take the series, it's going to have to be on the third map. Because I think Overpass, that's just out of bounds. It's hard to imagine a way that Navi can lose that. Whereas listen, Dust 2, it's not like Navi's out of that, but I think that's the best chance for mousesports. That's the way they can get it to 3. And then when it's 3, at least it's closer on train. At least there's ways you could visualize it happening. It's just on that Overpass map. Navi, even before they got to this level in the rankings, had already shown themselves to be very, very proficient on the map, very strong. So now that they're also one of the world's best teams, it feels like that should be their home map for me. There's only a few teams in this tournament could beat them on that, and I don't think mousesports is one of them.
Yeah, and just a side note on Navi, they were here in the building already warming up and practicing before we even got here.
In the building.
In the building. So, and maybe, they realize that they're not performing. Maybe Guardian realizes, he's been off this weekend. So let's talk about Guardian a little bit. And
yeah, that's the thing, because every time you've talked about Navi, since he came into it, it always started with it's the Guardian show. They go as far as Guardian takes them. When Guardian loses, that's when Navi loses. Hasn't actually been as much in general. The team they've gotten the Flamies come into his role now. Tactically, they're looking quite dominant versus a lot of the teams. But it has to be said, when they had this streak of finals and winning tournament titles, that was because Guardian had absolutely hit his peak in CS:GO. He was actually one of the best players in the world. If you'd asked me for my top 5 individual players, I'd have had him my number 3, number 4, very, very highly ranked. And when you get to that level, you expect it every game. If you see Olaf Meister, you expect he's going to be the best player in every server that he plays in, So it's been kind of shocking at this tournament, actually. Navi's got to this point. They've scraped by. They've done what they needed to do. But he hasn't particularly had a good tournament yet. If I'm him, I can't feel happy I've done my job. I've done what I set out to do in that sense. I think actually, when I think of some of the big games and some of the harder matches they've had, he's been a bit absent, actually. Now, I don't expect that to continue. When you are as good as him, again, you're another player where you should be able to put yesterday behind you and be like, okay, bad day for me, whatever. Now's where I start playing. This is where I win a semi-final with my team, get to the final. I need to batch up. I always think in bracket stage, when you're playing better teams, you have to go against their star. That's how I think the star should have the mentality of like if Nex is putting down 25 kills a half, you've got to, listen, not necessarily get 25 kills, but you've got to have the same impact. You've got to get the AWP, you've got to lock down a position, you've got to help out the rest of your team, So Guardian has to turn up, I think, for Navi to win this series. I don't think they can get away again with him just chilling, having a map off, etc. Especially because when you think about sports, they really do feel like a very consistent team top to bottom. They might not have the most skilled players, but you know what you're going to get from each of them, I think. And there isn't so much of an X factor in their team.
And as you can see down below, just want to point out, we do have a Twitter poll going, as we always do, so just use those proper hashtags, either mousesports or Navi, and also, obviously, the MLG CEVO LAN hashtag. Looks like, as of right now, obviously the poll just opened. We'll see how it washes out, but a lot of mousesports fans. Again, it's a want to win, so depending on how people are reading into that.
I can see that, though. Here's the thing. Navi is a popular team. A lot of people, they're so exciting, they're so mercurial, so explosive when they win. I can see why they are an exciting team to win. Normally, they would have a lot of fan favorites, riding on them, But I actually can see why people are feeling mousesports a little bit here, because the thing with mousesports is, if they win, they're one of the few teams where every win I've seen, they've beaten VP twice, they've beaten Cloud9, I never thought any of it was a fluke, because the way they win is so fundamentally sound. You could see that they did win by understanding tactically what to do and adapting in this area here, and then when someone did get the kills, it was I can see what led up to that. It feels like they take a lot of the randomness out of the game. That doesn't mean they're going to win always, but they play very fundamentally sound, I think, which is interesting to watch, because a lot of the teams are the ones with the sick aimers where you're just riding on the brilliance of that guy. So if they were to win, that would obviously be a cool storyline, because it wouldn't be easy final for whoever gets there. If they can beat Navi and get to a final, they're then going to be one of the teams contending to win this title for real.
Well, yeah, and yesterday we gave a lot of credit to Gabi for being the tactical mastermind, being the guy who will know exactly what to do during the round. And we said he not only worries about all his other team, but he worries about what the other team does as well. Yeah. So I think Overpass is one of those maps where you can't really play that scrimmy on. There's a lot of smokes, there's a lot of Molotovs you use. And I know Navi specifically, they have a bunch of smokes where they'll be looking like if they're going B, they'll throw smokes from the A site to B and then go A. So I think Gabi will be ready for that, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why you saw them so happy to play Overpass.
Well, and again, you called Gabi a mastermind. On the other side of the coin, Zeus in his own right. So this is definitely a battle of tactician type in-game leaders, if you will.
And what's interesting is these guys were going head-to-head in 1.6. Different lineups for both, obviously. Not a whole lot of shared players. Basically only Edward joining all these players. But back in 1.6, mousesports lineup, Na'Vi lineup, when Na'Vi was the best, they were the superior team at the time. Mouse could always go very head-to-head with them. And I think a lot of that tends to come down to individual leader. Like, yeah, it helps to have a map pool at shared and have some star power players, but we're really good mastermind type players. They can figure out, like, how are we going to shift our weakness so that it's not as obvious in this series? How are we going to get a little edge here? Like, do we have to play a bit more risky perhaps sometimes? Do we play a bit more standard? Whatever the actual identifying markers is, they'll get to that and they'll be able to do it. The thing with Zeus here is, I think the difference between the two is Zeus is the guy where he thinks he knows what he's going to do, and it's just like, we have to just execute it. Like, this is what I've decided is the right call. He doesn't really rethink it as much. It's more like, we're not doing it right. Like, we have to change this little bit up. You're not throwing this smoke. That's why he always tends to go crazy with his teammates when he loses. He's not the guy who is patting them on the back. Like, oh, you can do it. It's more like, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we? We're better than this. God B feels more like the guy where he's more like the scientist. He's just trying to figure out what aren't we doing right here? Like, was this off a little bit? He's just trying to puzzle his way through it. You always see he just has like kind of a neutral expression on his face. He's thinking about it a bit. So I think it's an interesting matchup because there's a different style of in-game leader. I also never see God be angry in timeouts or shouting at people. Feels like he's a bit more laid back and he's just setting the table for everyone.
Let's see. Obviously, they're getting ready. The players all walked away to do their pep talks and their rallies and last-minute discussions. They're all sitting back down. This is the second big semifinal, so to speak, for this mousesports roster. So that's a nice, in a very short period of time, right? So do you think, who needs to win this more? Obviously, Navi's been on a nice run. Mousesports is an up and coming. Yeah. But like, who really needs to like?
I think it actually, here's the thing. On one level, Na'Vi need to win because if you get upset by a team who at the moment aren't even ranked, yeah, they have been ranked 10th before and they've been in and out of the rankings, but if you get beat by an unranked team and you were the top ranked team at the tournament, people are going to be asking questions to Na'Vi. Is Na'Vi falling off? Is it, did they just have the nice run of form and now, that's over now? Now they're back down to just being an okay team. But I think for mousesports, they need to win this more. This is more important to them. If Na'Vi lose this, listen, they might get angry, they might get upset, but they're going to go into the major. They're still going to be one of the favorites for that major. They're still going to think they can win the major. If you're talking about the mousesports guys, they had a great Gfinity. They got to that semi-finals, and then Nip actually, were able to beat them reasonably convincingly. They took care of them, especially on Dust 2, one of their home maps. So I feel like for mousesports, this would be way more important if they made the final here. And I think if they make the final and they beat Na'Vi, they can already start thinking in their minds, like, if we can beat Na'Vi in a best of 3, we beat Cloud9 in a best of 3, why can't we win this whole tournament? This isn't about just having a good performance anymore. We can be the champions here. And if we were to have a champion who isn't even ranked, that would be incredible for this series. We're already talking at the moment, CS, like, this is such a competitive era. Imagine if a team that's not even ranked in the top 10 wins a big event with people like VP, C9, Na'Vi in attendance.
I think it says a lot to Nex as well. Like, we were talking a lot about Nex and how he is this up-and-coming star, and he's been playing out of his mind this event and the last couple events. I think if he's able to actually make it to the finals and actually win, that gives him so much confidence moving forward. And I think that's something that mousesports could actually use. Like, they've been looking very good, but they've been falling short. If they're able to actually use that momentum and push them to over the edge and actually win this event, I think that would be huge for them.
Yeah. The thing is as well, when those guys like Nex, Speedy, Dennis, when they were in those Pentalanets before, listen, they made some surprising results. They made like runs to the round of 8 of majors, but then they would go out and it was obvious in a best of 3 they couldn't win. When I sometimes talk to other teams, I was like, what do you actually think of them? They must be decent. They would be like, oh, they were too easy to figure out. Well, that's not going to happen with God B. Now they've got the tactical basis behind them. So let's see if they can win this big semi.
All right, the first map is going live. It is Overpass. Bringing you the action is going to be Helium and Launders. Take it away, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, guys. Here we are, semifinals, CEVO, Season 7, Na'Vi versus mousesports going into the pistol. But before we do, I'd just like to remind everybody, if you need a tutor in either chemistry or physics, you probably don't hire Thorin for that job. All right, though, Launders, let's go through this pistol. What do you notice here off the early buys?
It's looking like a really heavy shot towards B, and it's going to be a straight one. It looks like Flamey's the only one here defending as well. So mousesports might have done their homework, as he's going to be trying to shoot, but for the most part is only going to look to... Oh, and this is the cradle that we saw mousesports try to pull off last time. If they went straight into B, however, I think that would have been the better play.
Yeah, they would have had it, although I wonder, yes, you get into B, you might get the bomb down, but holding that, just without any smokes or flashes to stop Na'Vi from pushing back in on the retake, it's so hard to hold. But as we see, there are actually no kits here for Na'Vi on that CT side. He's just taking some damage. He's got one grenade, and well, there was that early action, but now mousesports has backed completely off. Zeus still spotting down the monster area here, back towards sandbags.
Wait, I think they took Navi's pistol. Or did no, mousesports pulled this exact same thing off. So they get all the players at A site to back off into the site instead of playing forward bathroom control because they don't know once they thought it was going to be a B hit, once they started to half rotate.
They can't safely go back out.
Exactly. And that's allowed mousesports to take control of the map any way they want without having to fight for it. Chris J's actually pushing up long, and he was the lone man over there. So now they have a free entrance into the B site. And look at the mini-map. We've got all the players from mousesports stacked up over towards A once again.
Seems like Navi might have figured it out. And now Zeus going to strike. That's going to bring down Dennis. So it puts mousesports now trying to retake that B site that they could have had earlier on in the round. Went for the mind games, but now it's not quite paying off as they're pushing in. Flamey here in pits, still alive. And look at that. Navi going to take the first round, not even losing a member here, and almost a team ace. Only Flamey not getting on the board there.
Yeah, actually, Flamey was there at the backside. Oh no, he didn't actually get.
He didn't actually get a kill initially, no.
Oh wow, it was Zeus there who got 2 frags, and he was the lone man spotting it. Did so much damage. He was the person in B side back there.
He was a graffiti,
too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so he was doing a lot of damage early on. If it ended up just being a straight up B hit, it would have been much more successful. And I wonder if that's Navi looking at their demos or if that's mousesports looking at Navi's demos, because the way that Navi were set up initially, it was for that late round A hit, right? And that's what mousesports did last time they did that cradle strat. This time, they took it right back to B, and they ended up only having to go up against one person, but they never got to take him out because they couldn't trade, they couldn't get in.
All right, so interesting thing to note here, next, rocking the dualies. Up against the rifles here, the 1 MP7
2 guns are better than 1.
That's true, 2 is better than 1, you can't argue with that. Although, with the way the pistols work out, it's a bit odd. I mean, we see some players use them. He's got a nice skin for it, so we'll see. Guardian with that FAMAS though, keeping his range. Finding an early frag, he gets one of the players that's got B, trying to work up long. Not quite working out for him. Sees with a grenade. That's, again, going to further dissuade the mousesports from coming out of that bathroom, and he sprays them all down. Actually, he only got the 1. He's on the 2 assists. Guardian and Edward finding the kills there. And it is just going to be Speedy here left by himself with that P250, trying to just, you know, inflict maybe 1 point of damage to Seized. That's about all it'll take right now. Instead, he finds Edward, and he will find that kill, too. So that's 1 rifle down. Seized is right there. He'd like to live so he can pick that back up. Guardian on the other side looks like he couldn't just seal the deal. Will he be caught off guard, though? No. Guardian's got it. And you'll see Seized. He picks up that M4A1S.
All right, okay, so here's some Guardian fans. Guardian fans. Could be Guardian fans.
Probably
Could be
Navi
their
fans.
shot caller. Could be their shot caller. But some Navi fans in the crowd, and I'm sure for good reason. This is their map pick, so...
Yeah, we've seen them on almost every LAN in the last like 3-4 weeks.
Now, Hiko pointed out that mousesports, when the map was picked, they seemed pretty okay with it. Like,
you have to expect it, right?
They have to expect it, and the last time they played well on it. And it's a map that they banned several times during the regular online season and always did well playing it. So that's kind of curious.
So charging through that Molotov, maybe they might have extinguished it with the smoke of their own. I didn't quite notice, but running to that rifle, they will find Flamey, who's only able to get 1. Oh, and 2 grenade kills, just raining down pain from up in that window. Zeus gonna find Dennis, and that's actually the bomb pulling the fake off towards that A site. That rotation, though, coming back up. If they go quick enough and just get in front of that site box, the flank isn't actually on its way. So they could plant here, but they're pushing right through. They actually find the bomber first, and Seized and Guardian just shut it down. And now we'll get into round 4. mousesports finally will have those rifles.
Super tough in that situation to pick what side of the site to plant on. Like, you can plant for bank and CT if you think the rotates are going through stairs or there's forward A control. And that's what they assumed, right? That there wasn't any resistance there, so why wouldn't Navi push up? But it turns out Navi were actually rotating through stairs. Guardian was really late up into bank, and they couldn't plant on that side. But bathroom side was wide open.
Yeah, it was. So here's maybe what we've all been waiting for. Guardian and Chris J both picking up those ops, and we'll have to see if we will get to witness those duels. We know that Guardian most of the time is just going to be playing off that planter, the flowers over there at long.
Yep.
So if we ever see him going over there with the AWP, you got to watch out. But for right now, he's kind of lurking outside of B with Speedy. And Speedy generally for mousesports is that player that's always going to be watching the back. And there it is, Guardian finds Gombi. So going down a man early, taking out that in-game leader. So mousesports once again starting from the back foot.
Being 5v4 on this map as a terrorist is one of the most difficult things to come back from. Even though people are forward in bathrooms, it's just so difficult to deal with a crossfire when you're down man. And it looks like Nex is actually going to take his talents down the stairs with the bomb. That is Dennis. Zeus is sitting out here.
He's in a really good
He's
spot.
going to hear this.
Yeah, he's got that those audio senses kicking in. He's in a great spot. Will it go checked? It will not. He's going to drop the bomb. Next, does get that trade out, though. Chris J in the site. Can he open this up? Hits a nice little flick over to Flamey. Opening things up now. See the rotations coming in. Those CTs trickling down. And it's actually mousesports now back with the advantage. C is going to drop himself out. Might have been unseen. Flashes were going off. Yeah, Chris J caught completely off guard. His allies from the sandbags not able to help out. 2-on-1 now, and it looks like enough time. No, I thought they were going to go back up the stairs perhaps, but coming through sandbags, sees if he can hit these shots, he'll win it, but oh, he was running out of ammunition. Has to go for that reload. And there it is, Speedy peeking out, not going for the plan, and he'll win them that first rifle round, but still costly.
Yeah, he just outplayed C's pretty bad there. There was about 10 seconds left. C's thought, okay, he's going to put this bomb down, play the 1v1, and not know whether or not I'm close or if I'm coming around the side. And instead, Speedy peeked out immediately and took that risk and got the frag. That was definitely a good way. If you get the opportunity to kill somebody while running forward, always take it. And Speedy recognized that opportunity there. But that was a pretty big mess up by mousesports in the sense that they left the bomb at Cat after they traded out so well on B, and from a 3v1 situation,
oh, next never actually picked it up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it could have cost them it, but Speedy gets him through. And Na'Vi with, you know, keeping everyone alive, multiple submachine gun kills in the first couple rounds, still have enough to buy up here, and, well, it's working out for them. Guardian hits an op shot. Edward before that with an M4. So it's just 3 people. Chris J gonna maybe need to hit some shots, try to open this up. But I wouldn't think Na'Vi is gonna peek out and give them an inch whatsoever.
Give it an inch.
Yeah, trying to get up.
Zoospot's ahead of 2 players out at short, and he's going to be able to just hold an angle on here. And once again, they had that 5. It's a 5v3 actually, so spotting 2 players, majority of the team is a big deal.
I think Speedy was trying to go for the spam to bait shots coming back through the plywood, and then next was going to pick off the sandbags. I kind of like that, just make the distraction, then go for the peek, but unfortunately the smoke came down.
Now, there are a lot of people in B right now. Flamey is one of them. He's going to try to pull off a spray on Chris J. Only does a bit of damage, but only a bit is returned, and Guardian is there to pick up the slack. Chris J left alone, 1v4 with a bomb, finds one.
Yeah, no damage taken there, and he hits the leg there. Unfortunately, he doesn't come home with the kill. Still, you know, we can see that Chris J is already hitting his shots. It's just unfortunately, you know, he's trying to hold back. He's trying to support the sniper, like supporting the initial push, and they all went down. He was left in a 1v4, basically an impossible situation. And back on to, well, it looks like the force buy coming in from mousesports.
That's a little bit curious. They win a rifle, lose a round, and opt to just spend all their money right away. So maybe they were anticipating a double save and decided, okay, we're just gonna throw it all in this round, see what we can make from it. If we do win it, you know, it's a great opportunity. Pick up an op, pick up 2 ops actually, destroy the economy of Na'Vi, put a round on the board, and be able to buy next round.
So did mousesports play Overpass yesterday at all? I was casting during that primary game.
They played Overpass yesterday.
That was actually that's their first time they played Overpass on land.
Cash does too.
Yeah, so this is the first time here that they're playing Overpass on land, and they don't even play it online all that often. They're 6 and 5 throughout the various online seasons, and we can see while talking over the round a little bit, but trying to work into a little bit of a delay explode there up short.
No,
it doesn't quite work out.
mousesports played Overpass versus Luminosity.
Okay, so they did play it once.
Yeah.
But Na'Vi quite a different animal than Luminosity, I would say.
Yes. A much bigger mythological creature.
We'll pick one later. We'll figure it out between maps what they're going to be. So now mousesports onto that full eco.
Again, there's 2 op setup of Na'Vi is going to be interesting to look at. We got Flamey moving over towards B, and again, the power of having these ops means that you could separate them, cut off 2 sides of the map, feel very confident in leaving them solo if you feel the need to over-rotate, and never leave that site in complete danger. It does seem like Flamey's actually moving over towards A. I don't know where they want to put him at this point, but you can hold an angle on bathrooms if you do a boost. If you do a boost, and from that same boost, you can watch long. So now there are 2 ops here. If they don't hit their shots, they're going to get closed on by these blocks.
And they do still have those trusty USPs. Flamey takes a quick peek and takes someone down that Edward had already lit up. Now Zeus just going to push on forward with that Tech 9 and close down that little eco push back to the A site. So A 2 times in a row for mousesports. Do you think they're some mind games now they'll rush B, or are they scouting A for information and a proper execute coming to this next rifle for them?
So the thing is when they went to take control of bathrooms last round, where they fell apart and it was 5v3, it's because both players out there died. And Na'Vi very good at controlling long. And so I wouldn't be surprised if mousesports was scared of trying to take it. And it looks like, I don't know if they're actually going to split towards A at this point, but yeah, the one adjustment I'd say they need is to have an extra man there to make sure that they can trade. Because even if it does end up in a 3v3 situation, that's going to favor mousesports, and they know that now. We've got multiple people waiting for a push at long, and I assume they're going to want to delay the take.
Yeah.
Seas is looking right over the smoke, though. Will he be spotted?
Let's see. Obviously knows that players are there now with that grenade coming through, and the way that mousesports is actually kind of set up on this kind of default strategy, they're leaving their backs completely open. Only Speedy next to that ladder, so if Flamey or Zeus were to decide to push through B, they would get so much information so quickly, and actually Speedy now will rotate back to cover it. But we're looking at Chris J right here. He's trying to find Guardian, who is very much expecting him to be on top of those flowers, as he often is. But as we see, Guardian in the back of that site, just waiting for someone to peek up.
Yeah. Now, what we saw multiple times, right, from Navi was Edward pushing long late, wrapping on Cloud9, and hitting A that way. mousesports waited them out, so I can see why they did that. At this point, Navi have conceded all the map controls coming down to the last 30 seconds, and we're working on an A split.
I like this crossfire that Edward and Seast have set up, kind of, you know, moderately aggressive out of sight. Chris J opens up the round, though, and Edward will not get his one kill that he kind of does need to find from that position. Next, instead, hits those entries there, coming out of the bathrooms. 2 kill for him. Nice smoke wall down here on the set strat. Zeus, though, here's that plant right through the smoke. He'll bring down Next. Chris J gonna wrap around that truck, finds him with the op, and now it is just Flamey coming up from that flank. Let's see if he can find a shot. Looks like after plant positions are going to be pretty solid. You got one at long, and again, Speedy kind of in that corner. A lot of people play, and Speedy caught off guard, but actually does flick over, and he lands it.
Pretty impressive stuff right there. That was a great A take from mousesports, who pretty much played Navi's game. Waited for that free pick to make it a 5v4. Navi did not give it to him. I think we're wary of the fact that it might be some sort of A play. And then pushed up long late, got all the way halfway up bathrooms, and then once that crossfire was there with, was it Zeus and Edward? I think
yes,
ironically,
Seas and Edward.
Seas and Edward, right. Ironically, Seas got a kill from a position that looked a little bit more dangerous, and Zeus didn't get his from his OP spot. Obviously, Next being the hero there, taking them both down, and because of that, they were able to take the site. Now, Navi do have enough money for an op. They're going to have 2 this time, and that's not a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, and I know I've commented on this a few times, but it's actually Flamey that's been picking up the op. I thought it was maybe a gimmick when they felt that they outclassed their opponent, but it seems like they have diversified a little bit. Guardian, though, the only one on this round. And Chris J, he's again looking up top. Guardian peeking off the side, and he brings him down. So now Navi with that man advantage.
You just simply wouldn't expect it.
Yeah. All right, next, moving through the bathrooms, and we've got Seized. He's pushed up with Guardian supporting, and here's this pop flash that you always want thrown if you're in Seized's position, but oftentimes we'll see confusion or short will get compromised and that support backs off and you get in I mean, Seized's position really without the support from that van that Dennis is looking at, it's like a 0 kill, like 50% chance that you actually kill somebody, but there he goes, he gets it. Edward finds Next, Zeus to get Speedy. Edward, the only one to go down here. Zeus cleans it up with that kill onto Gob B.
Yeah, now, it's just, and this is what makes Navi so good at this map, right? Even though they have more than one setup for the CT side, whatever setup they are using to adjust is working out beautifully. They had Zeus in the exact same spot. All they did was Seized. All they did was take out Edward from that really, like, 1 kill position, and I think that's what you just mentioned. And managed to get the better of mousesports, who were used to such a similar setup in these past few rounds, like going up against the same thing over and over again. Navi finding a way to reinvent themselves.
Zeus missing that jump nade a little bit. I think he wanted to get it in through that door. And it seems like mousesports with the pistols will go in for that, you know, complete construction control.
Oh, look at Gob B, or Zero, man, in the sight.
He's over here.
Pushing up on headshot. Flamey's going to take some things. Will he go down? He actually gets that frag.
Not the cleanest, but he does find it with that Glock. You know, the Glock just showing off how good of a gun it really is. But look at this, holding from Graffiti. Zeus finding 3 kills here. Haven't been tested very often in B the last couple rounds. Flamey and Zeus probably getting a bit restless. As far as they haven't like been pushing through, because it was A like 3 or 4 times in a row coming out from
How did Gob even do that? I don't even know how you end up in pit.
Completely sure, to be honest.
Walked in cat, like walked. into the pit, and yeah, that ended up working out really well. Now we saw Flamey, I mean, was actually a weakness at headshot when they were facing Luminosity. Like I mentioned, like Lex was able to walk in long B and hit those shots. Actually, their weakness, even versus Luminosity, their weakness was that if Luminosity picked the right time to walk into something, walk long B, walk along A, walk along B, they were able to get away with it. So if mousesports can find the appropriate timings, they won't have to go up against a series of counter flashes and nades, which isn't even that common on Overpass anyway. Here we're gonna have forward cat control. 2 players here, Guardian and Edward, but oh, Chris J entering with the knob. What is this?
And they played so heavy towards B, Na'Vi, right? They probably noticed that mousesports went with pistols to A a couple times, then brought the rifles there. They just did the same thing to B, and Na'Vi adjusted to play heavy on towards the B site, but Chris
Edward.
J just shut them down.
Edward
Guardian, though,
pushes
does
through the
find
smoke.
one. Edward from Monster almost finds himself a triple. He will be denied, though, by Dennis. That brings it back to a 2-on-2, though. HP favoring Na'Vi, and now it's just Gob. Seized found that frag. Gob working himself in. He was the ninja on that last round, but here he can't bring it home. Seized will find him, and it's 9-2. It's going to be perhaps very rough here for mousesports in the first half.
Yeah, that was rough. I mean, that was a very pivotal round. It would have been 8-3. mousesports should have won it. They had man advantage up until Edward pushed their smoke at long B as kind of a high risk, high reward play considering they were down a man. I think it was necessary and it was really calculated. Like, who would expect a flank to come out that quickly after you kill 2 players in the site, right? And it's because Na'Vi actually pushed out two into the site and 2 short B. And even in the face of that stack, mousesports almost got the better of them. Now, with that being said, they traded him out in pit. Still couldn't plant the bomb in time, and then ended up having Guardian come out to get a couple of kills with his op.
Oh, wow. Edward way off with that initial aim. The spray, he couldn't quite recuperate. Sees, though, from this dumpster on those stairs, going to find another 2. Looks like Edward did land some shots. He comes in on the assist. Guardian as well, finding next. And now it is only going to be Gabi and Dennis. They've actually, they've killed a couple people. Guardian, though, is going to move forward with that P250 and get it done.
I know why Mouse banned this map now. Is it because whenever I see them play this map, they look so great on CT side. They just have because they have Chris J as an op, because they have so much utility from all of their players and thorough CT side setups. With Gob calling, it's so important to keep a team coordinated on Overpass, and I know it sounds like something you'd say for every map, but because you have all your CT players in forward aggressive positions, constantly moving around, it's really hard to make sure that everybody's watching things at the appropriate angles,
especially
while
when you
taking
get
care of
into
their
less
teammates.
than 5v5s.
Yeah.
Like, flanks can open up on this map like, absolutely crazy.
Exactly. Oh, Guardian.
Yeah, will he be
Shooting
able to
between
fall
the
back?
eyes there.
Will he be able to fall back from this position? He moved up towards the party. It looks like he will be all right. Staying alive, falling back. Although into a 3-on-3 right now after that middle control. I guess mousesports sort of won out. Guardian down in the stairs. Not where we often see him, actually. That was the only place he felt quite safe to fall back to. And look at this, he's going for the loop-de-loop. Go up that ladder. Seized. Oh, just playing a... That's a pretty off angle, just behind that slim light post there.
Yeah. Sometimes that's what you need to do.
Oh, Guardian finds next. That was the bomb carrier as well in this brief 2v3 for mousesports. Now 1, and Zeus with the grenade coming in. That brings down Speedy. And 11 rounds here for Na'Vi. Mousesports having a very rough first half. But to be honest, seeing this map come out, mousesports have never played it on LAN, or maybe played it once here prior to this. But we've seen them online, like struggling in the regular season for CEVO against Existence, like on Overpass. It was very close with the same exact roster. So I wasn't expecting all that much. Maybe they can turn it around on CT side, like you mentioned.
That was a while ago, though. I don't
Yeah.
know. Was that even the same, like, full Mousesports lineup?
I think so. Maybe like Legia was standing in that match or something.
Yeah,
But
and like Mouse are like super good right now. I wouldn't hold them to the precedence of any roster before Gabi and Nex. And whoa, Chris J just getting into the long B, catches Edward with a smoke out. Flamey to trade, gets 2 players, and now there's 3 left. It's gonna be a
got the
last
bomb
effort
down, too.
here from Speedy.
oh, trying to pull down and to the left, as that's the way the spray goes. Well, eventually to the left with that M4A1S, but he doesn't quite hit that target.
Oh.
He goes down. Guardian, uh-oh. This is that shot, but Zeus is like, don't worry, bro.
I knew you'd miss.
I knew you'd miss that shot. if it's not really hard, you just can't hit it.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that's how the op works.
You know, this is one of those maps that's like, apart from a couple small mistakes, there were pivotal rounds that put mousesports on saves, and in the opportunities that they had to win rounds, I feel like they did come close. It might be a matter of confidence. It might be the fact that they didn't pick it and weren't as prepared. You know, the preparedness is something that Na'Vi has through and through, and it's shining right now, obviously, because as Guardian looks at the game, right? It's in that interview he mentioned, you know, it's whoever makes whoever makes least mistakes, right? And for mousesports right now, it's how do we find advantages on the map, right? It's not about that because they don't have everything ironed out. But next,
standard jumping Tech 9.
Puts on his cape.
Welcome to CSGO. Edward, though, finds that bomb on Chris J. Speedy with the trade out there. So mousesports will maintain that man advantage. Speedy with another one, make a double on the round for him. C spraying down from that semi-truck once again. Not quite on point with that initial shot. And then spray follow-up. And next with the op. And maybe salvaging it a bit. 12-3, not going to be solid for mousesports, but perhaps a bit of a momentum grab with the last round of this first half.
You know, they do have to worry about the pistol, but at a certain point, I don't know when you check out mentally as mousesports, considering that you didn't pick the map and that half went as badly as it did. And we're going to take a look at the box scores and see if we can pull anything from the stats. Yeah, diagnose the issues. Yeah, the thing is that the stats are not going to say so much about what the merits of mousesports' strategy, but yeah,
well, we can see Dennis with only 2 frags. If you look back at Gfinity, those maps, those best of 3s against Virtus Pro, it was Nex and Dennis just absolutely going off, leaving everyone else in the server behind. So not showing up together, but then again, it is T-side overpass.
Yeah.
So it's not the easiest to find those frags. Chris J with 10.
I feel like, you know, Dennis and Speedy, we've both seen them play like super well, like, and versus really good teams. And, you know, they're regarded as support players that are just a little bit less known. But if this team does become like a premier team, Dennis and Speedy, I feel like have the room to be really great players, right? Like have a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we got that first pistol round of the second half starting up now. Switching sides, of course, it'll be mousesports under that CT. If they can start off, set the pace, get the first 3 rounds in a row, I think they can make a comeback, at least a little bit. But I would still fully expect Na'Vi to take this first map. Looking forward in the series, though, Dust 2 and Train.
Yeah.
That's going to be very contested if we see all 3 maps.
Oh, here we have a forward A setup. Oh, Dennis puts one in the Dome of Guardian. Easy, he says. And we have Edward and Zeus coming up the stairs, but they have conceded bathrooms at this point. It's only Chris J here to spot long, and he'll fall off at any point. Again, you have that man advantage. It's all you really want. Now you can just play sites.
Yeah, Dennis was still spotting short somewhat aggressively, took 1 shot, immediately fell back, so now they have kind of forfeited all of that control. So the bathroom's belonging here to the terrace. Chris J, though, with the 1 tap onto Blamey will take him down. Edward now going to push through. They made Edward the raid boss here. He goes for the Tech 9 and the Kevlar. He's got a lot of work to do, though. Mousesports still with 5 members. Seized also P250 and armor for himself.
And they're wondering who gives up long like that, because Na'Vi putting their presence there immediately turn around and take it downstairs, but there is a player, Speedy, who's going to have pressure put on him right now. Oh, had a flash come out, but it isn't enough. C's in the water now.
Yeah, that secondary player, or C's coming out second, was not blind at all, so able to save his buddy there and keep it a 3-on-4 from Na'Vi's perspective, and they'll reverse it right back around now, coming up those A steps. Dennis here trying to hold them off. Edward's going to go and find 1 kill. Gob striking onto Zeus. Still the advantage, but look at the HP here on some of these mousesports players. Dennis still with a quick peek on 6 HP. Finds 1, lights up another, and Nex is there to close it out. Mousesports, there it is, setting the pace in the second half. They find that first round.
You know, you can just look at the scoreline as a CS player. See 12-3, and that looks daunting. As soon as you see 12-4, that's a lot of relief, right?
Easy, we got this.
Yeah, easy, we got this. I mean, you have the opportunity to build up a little bit of money as long as provided that you win the next couple of rounds. It won't be easy. It won't be easy. You know Na'Vi are going to force up. You know they're going to have nades, and you know they're going to have an eco strategy.
These lovely umps.
My umps.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was going for exactly. Shout out to Fergie, I guess. But that's kind of weird, seeing all 4 of them going for the UMPs, and 1 FAMAS there for Dennis. Let's see how they want to play it. Get the submachine guns a bit closer. Dennis, where is he playing at? He's got a further back spot. Now he gets into the pit here in that B site. Na'Vi spread out, taking it slow. They are on that forceful buy. Only Zeus without the armor as he goes for a lot more grenades here. They've got 3 smokes to work with, so Na'Vi can't pull out a set strategy as a result of that. Can't get the bomb down, but moving forward without it, up towards short and long, looking for the picks first.
Dennis is like that one dude who got pancakes and they all got waffles at breakfast.
We actually saw them at breakfast, mousesports. I'm not sure what exactly they ate.
I never realized it'd be relevant.
Yeah, I didn't think we were
would've
going to be
paid
able to
more
work it into the
attention.
cast. Otherwise, I would have checked it out.
Here's Chris J. Gonna see the first action. Smokes are gonna be thrown, and he's in a great position to just get kills because they won't know that he's here immediately, and Edward is gonna be the first casualty of the round. Chris J gonna have to spin around and have to deal with more players. Oh no. The bomb might be able to go down here. 3v4.
Oh, going up on the box to look over. Might have been a mistake there from Guardian. It'll be brought down, but look at this beautiful smoke wall, though, from Na'Vi. They will get the bomb down. Now coming through, it's going to be Gob. He's rotated back up. 3-on-3 here, but Armor and UMP's on both sides at the moment. Gob looks over towards Long. That's where Flamey is. It's a 1-on-1 here. Dennis.
Pancakes for the win.
Yeah, pancakes will prevail. He will get the defuse here. Again, costly. They did just buy in for the submachine gun, so they didn't lose, I guess, as much value, but forced to rebuy up quite a bit here. After a bomb plant, Na'Vi might want to...
What's an ump cost? 1,400?
I have no idea.
So they got 600 per kill.
Yeah.
They got a nice rebate on those UMPs, even though they died.
They didn't forget to mail it in either, so...
Yeah. No instant rebates.
That's how they
yes.
get you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, expecting this after that plant, even though they forced up in the last one, they're going to force again. They're going to try to keep that pressure on. They're going to engage in that game of economic chicken up against the CTs, and the CTs always at the disadvantage in this game.
Yeah, well put. And yeah, it is going to be a good time to do that. I mean, their buys are nearly identical. Actually, no, I mean, there is the op of Chris J. At least there is that, which might be a surprise to mousesports. The fact that they're able to afford this.
All right.
Man advantage early to mousesports.
Yeah, that's going to be big. So they bring down C's. That also gives them the information that, hey, like, they've got AKs. We got to watch out. And now Edward finds Chris J. So much for that op. Not surprising, Na'Vi in the lead. Zeus going to be brought down by Spitty, who gives him the old crouch peek over there on the sandbags. Yeah, we'll smoke that off.
The Guardian's going to go try to grab this op. And there is no op to, like, defend it. I mean, he can just pick this up. Actually does get it. 3v4. Guardian has an op.
Yeah, he was scoping in there on the bank. He almost have, if he held it a little bit longer, might have seen Dennis. No way for him to know. 4-on-3 though, still for mousesports. And the bomb is down very, very far away. It's going to take them at least another 15 or so seconds, maybe longer if they got to walk it to actually get back to the bomb.
Yeah.
And that's only going to leave them with one option.
And you wonder...
They have to go B at this point.
Exactly. And you wonder if that's what they want to do originally. Now, the bomb is staged up over there. They won't have another option. Flamey does have stairs control and can open it and go to water, so they won't have to spend too much time clearing stuff out, but they will have to hit entries, and the first man to see the action will be Speedy. It'll come down to him pretty much. If he can't get a good sight hold off, it's gonna be around for Na'Vi.
Yeah, they have to save. The utility nades were still here, the Molotov on short. There's no way for Na'Vi to do this, so they back off, they will save, and they'll respawn right where they end the round, at least in Flamey's case. Let's see if he gets it. Will he respawn exactly where he's standing? That's the dream.
It's honestly a bit of a misstep by Na'Vi to leave the bomb that far and not put it in a position that was where they could grab it. I mean, yeah, but if they, were a little bit more prudent there, they could have put the bomb in a more central position or made sure that whoever died with it had someone who could pick it up, because they did just throw away a round. I mean, it is 12-6 at this point. They are forcing behind 3 guns simply because they ran out of time and didn't have enough time to come away with a reasonable execute. And that's a decision they didn't want to have to make. Speedy gonna get flashed in a long V, I think, as they take a peek. See, playing way far back though. It's not gonna have any problems.
Na'Vi's still engaging in the war of the economies here, just trying to keep that pressure on. They're going for the 2 Tech 9s. They do still have their smokes, and we saw how effective that A-Take was with that smoke wall just across everything. So that was very nice. They can perhaps do that again, but they will have to work up past Chris J. Chris J jumps, gets shot at. Whether he saw anything or not, he knows that Guardian is there.
Yeah, Chris likes to move around a whole bunch, and he is
barrel
quite the
spotted.
offer. Finds an opening pick. 5v4 once again. Last time it was 5v4. mousesports won. Will that strat carry over into this round? And he finds another. Zeus goes down 5v3.
And into another spot where he can go for that 1 kill attempt again. Can't quite flick over in time, and Seas is able to capitalize off that first shot that missed. He finds him with a Tech 9, but it's still 4-on-3. Man advantage for mousesports. Time advantage as well, honestly. 30 seconds means that Na'Vi can't go anywhere else. And this time they're not in a position to save.
No, their stairs are completely cut off too.
There is Spitty right there behind them. Guardian is hoping that, you know, mousesports feeling antsy would maybe push and give them that even exchange. Sees though with a beautiful shot onto next. Molotov's going down, trying to stop this plant. Sees not quite in the sight, but they find these entries. Gob is there, but he can't hold on, and now it's just Spitty. He does find one, he gets seized, but now the jig is up. They know that he's coming from behind, and they've got those fallback positions. They can go bank, stairs, truck, anywhere. Spitty coming in that 1v2. He will find it. Okay, 1v1, and Flamey, as we know, already low. Oh, but the smoke blocking it, and Flamey finds it, and there's that first round here in the second half for Na'Vi.
Yeah, Na'Vi do pull it back in a situation where mousesports had it to a 5v3. 2 entries, insane entries were hit. C's got a couple kills for himself. He's up to 22 frags on the map. It's kind of back in form right now, and looking sharp for sure. Now, Speedy had the stairs cut off. The one play they could make was A, and that site was stacked. Again, we talked about this time and time again. Some of the worst spots to defend A from is from the A site itself, and we saw why. The thing was that they had 3 players there to make up for that disadvantage and still couldn't hold the site. Now they're on a save. The score line favors Na'Vi so greatly that within one more loss, they're going to be on match point. Is it too late?
Now we get to see Na'Vi doing what they love, just controlling these stairs connector. It's the pivotal position on this map for the terrorists, and actually Spitty, that's one of the doors that will, you know, degrade when shot at. So able to spot his barrel after the door fell apart, and they take him down. Next, hunted for that 1 dig, will not be able to find it. Edward brings him down. Just 3 players up for mousesports. 2 P250s, and actually 2 Kevlars on those players as well. Let's check out their money. All right, everyone at about low to mid 2K on mousesports.
Yeah, losing the first rifle round, not a good sign as well.
Yeah, that is. Well, it wasn't really, right? They kind of survived against that force buy a couple times, and then
you're
they
right,
fell
you're right.
in the force.
They got that bump plant if they bought it.
To be honest, there hasn't been a true rifle round yet, right?
Yeah, that's true. No op v op at least.
So here, mousesports getting into like the 4 grand territory will go in for this. That of course means no diffuse kits. That could be the bigger deal. No Molotovs as either.
Whoa, no kits.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an issue.
Hey, the rotation's fast on this map, right?
Na'Vi are pretty good at planting the bomb.
That is true. It also worries me that there's no Molotovs to stop any of these rushes, or, you know, Navi's known to take it slow and execute with, you know, only a few seconds on the clock, and Molotov can just win you the game or the match. What am I trying to say? Round in that position. But 4-on-4 though.
Yeah. Well-timed flash for Gabi. Gets the pick up long. That's an op down. Zeus actually finds it, picks it up, and recovers it. Now he's going to be moving over towards water. They know that long is open now. Chris J always plays there solo, and sometimes pushed up bathroom solo. Maybe one of the holes in their defense. Next now is going to be taking an aggressive position. And I like that he's not conceding all the way to the site. This way, not only is he in a good position to get an early frag.
He's spotted everybody. Seen him do this multiple times when he jumps up and sees those CT players.
Oh.
They will notice it though, so they're aware they were spotted.
And there's the smoke. The execute is going to come out. The bomb is left way back there, though. Zeus and Flamey
Who needs the bomb?
are going to be trying to take fights.
Yeah, coming into this 3-on-4, Na'Vi going to re-smoke that kind of cross. Lucky that it didn't drop down there into the little crack and then make that smoke useless. Will allow them to cover, though. The bomb going down, and now Gob striking from headshot. Will find C's going to peek out. Zeus is ready for him. He gets lit up, but Zeus finds the frag. And there, Flamey, coming through with that AK. Dennis going to bring it into the 1-on-1. Zeus with the op, low HP, and he'll miss the shot. Dennis able to do it, and he does it fast enough that the kits don't matter.
Yeah, no need for the kit. And maybe all those extra nades ended up being the reason why they could do it. Wow. Flamey with a nice 3K on that round. Almost locked it up, but Na'Vi getting the bomb down. mousesports playing for that retake. They really had to trust themselves to do it, but man, did it come close.
All right, so still down 7-14.
Oh, but look at this.
Money's still there.
mousesports just barely hanging on still.
Yeah, Na'Vi's still with
Rebuying
more
Thomas's
money.
is the worst feeling after you win a round.
that it is. Unless for some reason you're just a little bit off and you love the FAMAS.
You love the FAMAS. Yeah.
If I just wish the burst was better, to be honest. I miss it. Well, let's see what's going on here. Again, more flashes and smokes and one kit on next, so they do have that going for them. Chris J also with the op. Navi, though, sticking all to the rifles right here. Edward going to go up, and he will not find the entry. Speedy brings him down. Gom's been spotted up in the barrels. He's going to just crouch there. And nothing actually to get him out of this position. Only 2 HEs up on Navi. They'll try to smoke him off instead, or Flamey will just shoot him in the head. 4 on 4 now. Navi once again executing on the B site. See that rotation starting to trickle down. Dennis, I like this play. Moves right back into the position where someone died, and I thought that was going to pay off, but no. Guardian will recheck it again. He just had a feeling, but it might not matter. 2 on 1 in favor of mousesports. Chris J from the window hits the shot, and another round for Mouse.
Lock it up. mousesports almost looking pretty good, and at this point actually are going to have to rebuy. Chris going to drop one, Speedy's going to drop one. That's going to leave one person to spend his own money, but good thing that's next. He's got 5,300. That's a full buy, looking in much better shape right now.
And mousesports finally can maybe take a breath. It's like the first round that Navi's not gone all in with armor, like Tech 9's, 1 AK or something.
Yeah.
Like besides the pistol round, Navi have had an AK every single round, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm forgetting one thing, but here we go. Chris J moving up very aggressive against the pistols, maybe a bit questionable.
Yeah, it's possible. They didn't anticipate a buy there, and Chris multiple times has died on his own, pushed up bathrooms, pushed up
didn't
long.
have much support with him there.
At the very same time, it's had a lot of impact, but in a situation where it's 14-8, you really need to cover your outs.
Now you've just give Guardian an op, so you can start to find those openings. But Dennis here can maybe turn it around. He'll find that initial frag, actually gets Guardian a bit through the wall. We'll find another, so 2 kills, 3 kills from this position, and next gets the other one on short, brings down Guardian. Now 9 for mousesports. They're working their way into those double digits. One more, and they're there.
This is what I was talking about, their CT side. If Chris stops dying so much at this point, like, he has having an impact. I like that they're playing aggressive bathrooms and that they don't give it up for a long time. They notice how key that is, and the only thing is that when I say Chris needs to stop dying so much, I mean somebody needs to be there with Chris.
Yeah, to support him.
Yeah, every single round if he wants to push up.
At least when he has been dying, he does most of the time hit that shot, so it does go 1 for 1, but as we know, that's still going to favor the terrorists.
Yeah, no, you don't want that.
So C's top fragger. I believe C's top fragger in the server right now, so he's trying to work into construction. He's got 23, and it's actually Chris J with the most on mousesports up at 16. And I'm sure Navi going to look to take this slow again. Just look at the bomb in those upper tunnels. They're spread out everywhere. They've got everything watched. They're hoping for aggression to get a man advantage. But Spitty once again, he doesn't get it this time. He's been pretty successful with the just random timing peaks there into construction and finding a kill, but not this time.
C's now going to fall off, grab the bomb, and it looks like they're just going to push up. At this point, Nex and Dennis are all the way back because they had to sacrifice what looks like Chris to, go and watch long B. He's going to anchor this. This is going to allow Gabi to rotate freely if he wanted to, but if they do take A in this situation, it's going to be tough. These wall smokes from Navi have proved to be quite a problem for mousesports, and it looks like Nex realizes that once he sees them coming out, is actually moving forward.
I was going to say maybe they can have that incendiary to put on the front of that bomb site, because that's the only place you can plant once you have that smoke wall, or I guess maybe in the smoke as well. But he threw it instead at long, and now they're just going to push through. Flamey gets the entry. Zeus and Party from the other side. Zeus finds 2. Hey, Chris J, who is, as you said, anchoring over there at B, watching Monster, just going to scurry up. So this will put Navi up on that match point.
Navi are so fierce on this map. Holy smokes. They made it so that, like, Mouse didn't really have an option. Once they lost the man, obviously that was a pivotal point in the round because they had to sacrifice 2 for B. And the fact that Navi did spend a round going to B means that site was a potential threat, but after they had walked up bathrooms, cleared things out, and Long wasn't being held by the outfit of Chris. Oh, whoa, hello. They were able to do their simple A take, and once bathrooms is conceded, Navi will win the duels with you in sight every single time, it seems like. They threw like 1 smoke and flushed 3 players out and hit headshots all across the board.
So let's see if mousesports can still fight back. It's Navi with, what, is it going to be 6 match points right now? Maybe they don't have to use any. Maybe mousesports can get into those double digits, make it a bit closer, keep playing, getting used to Navi. as these teams have not played before.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems mousesports are pretty much going tit for tat in terms of rifle rounds in this half. Maybe even have like at least one more. Definitely look more solid.
Wow,
I feel like
Guardian, what a shot.
Where was that even? Oh,
That was in the stairs. Dennis went down for a quick peek with his op as well. They actually went Chris J and Dennis with the op.
That's when Dennis knew.
Which is actually, I thought it was Speedy that a lot of times took up the secondary op. Not that they do it very often, because I mean, you do have Chris
Speedy's
J.
the primary Mag 7er, MP9er on rifle rounds on the team.
No, and the P90.
And the P90.
How many times do we see him with the P90?
Yeah.
And on the online, he goes for the Krieg and the AUG. Like,
Yeah, he
or
buys
if they start dominating, he just pulls them out.
That's why we love Speedy. He buys everything.
He buys my favorite gun. All right, so 5-on-3 in favor of Na'Vi. It looks like they can just close out this first map here. Unless there are some heroics by Nex, he would be a player to do it. He has that 5-7, and we know it can be so dangerous. No, he's not going to find it. Flamey brings him down the far end of those bathrooms. Sees and Zeus, and that's going to be at map
God.
1. Overpass going the way of Na'Vi, and we get a shot of him there. Cool, calm, collected, and I mean, I'm sure they knew they were going to win.
Yeah, I mean, there was their map pick. They're, as Thorin said, maybe regarded as the best team in the world on the map.
Definitely.
Excuse me.
I'll take over for Launders. Yeah, so it's not too surprising. We got the mousesports team that hasn't played this map on LAN. Even the online results against some lesser teams haven't been great. Going up against one of the best in the world, a team you've not played before with this roster, and I don't even know have they even really met before that. Maybe a couple times, but even that's out of the 3-month window.
Yeah, I don't know if they've ever played against each other online
Yeah.
before. So that is something. Overall, like, it was their CT sides that had the most to look at. On their T sides, they had options, but at certain points they were just like the team play effort was just on another level for Na'Vi, and they managed to make less mistakes, right? And that was I think the philosophy that really was prevalent in how much and how many of the rounds were won decisively by them.
Yeah, and that's what we expected. I think I said going into the second half that they find the pistol, mousesports. We know the CT side's going to be better, and it is a CT-sided map.
Yeah.
I thought they could get into the double digits at least, but they end there with 9. Still not a bad effort. They had some solid rounds on the CT side. But coming into Dust 2, we always regard that as mousesports. That's going to be their map. Na'Vi don't play very often, but of course they're still going to be pretty. It's Dust 2, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone pretty much, like, people ask me where I grow up, and sometimes I answer too fast, and I just say Dust 2. And I'm like, no, that's not right.
I'm Mirage.
Mirage? Yeah. Well, Strike before that, I guess. But, or can I not say that? Is that still under copyright? So Dust 2 and Train. Na'Vi also regarded as a very good Train team as well. But
Oh yeah, no,
I've studied up on mousesports on Train. There are no slouches either.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about these two teams, right? They both have similar map pools that are fairly wide, but across all maps, Na'Vi have better results. So that's always going to be a problem for them. But at the same time, on a map like Dust 2, what's really exciting is it might just come down to how many duels are going to be won by our operators, Chris J and Guardian.
Yeah, that's where Chris J will feel at home. I wanted to take a look because I thought it was interesting. We do always say, and I just said it, that mousesports on Dust 2 is going to be solid, but their LAN results haven't been too promising, but they have been playing some of the best teams. But enough of us up here in the casting desk. Let's throw it down to our analysts. Scoots, let me check. Hiko, there's Hiko, and Thorin. Guys, take it away.
They're nervous up there that we're going to keep swapping people out. So, 12-3 first side. So great start by Na'Vi, but again, it seemed like got a little rough there on the second side. Almost. I mean, I don't know if Na'Vi was ever in a chance of losing it, but it just seemed like they were giving away some rounds that they really shouldn't have even.
I mean, we have seen this from Na'Vi. That was what happened against Tempo Storm. When they get the lead, when they're 2 or 3 rounds from victory, they just get a bit loose. And also, at that point in the game, they will never save up. They will never do pure saves. They'll just force buy and wait till they win, you know. In this particular game, this is why I said there's not a whole lot of hope for mousesports here. Na'Vi's so good on this map, they were always going to have a very big CT half. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your tactics are. When a team's brilliant on CT side like that, they can make you look bad. So I don't blame mousesports. They had some good entries. I mean, on the A side, there was times they just walked in there, just cruised in with 4 people. But overall, like on the B side rather, they were never actually really getting into the A side when it mattered with enough numbers, you know.
And something I noticed is that, as one of the casters was saying, yesterday when Luminosity was playing Na'Vi, they were actually just walking up long and just taking battles to them and getting in with when they weren't looking. And we saw that a couple times where Nex, I think one round he had a Tech 9, he just walked through the long tunnel and ended up killing, I think, Zeus in the back when he was dodging flashes. So I think they definitely did their homework, and it doesn't matter how good you are on Overpass, like, Na'Vi is going to be better than you.
Yeah.
And also, another thing we didn't say is, for some reason, that second half, closing it out was a big problem for them. We saw that one round where there was like 50 seconds left, they were thinking about where to go, and they just opted to save, which is not very characteristic of Na'Vi at all.
Well, here's the weird thing. When they didn't have money, they forced up. They'd buy the Tech 9 armor. When they did have 3 guns, they were conservative, they'd save. So it's like on one hand, they knew, like, we've got the lead, we don't want to blow it, let's try again next round. But then at other times, they still were willing to potentially risk it. So it's just Na'Vi. I mean, at the end of the day, they won. It was comfortable enough. They won't be thinking twice about that. They're just waiting for map 2 now.
Yeah.
If you mouse sports, I mean, some things worked, but it's hard to really feel good about that map. But then again, of the 3 maps, it was your worst chance anyway. For them, it's still like, listen, win Dust 2, and then it doesn't matter what happened on Overpass. We'll go into train at least, and we know that's a chance for us.
All right, well, that being said, the next map will be Dust 2. We're going to come right back. Short commercial break. See you then. All right, welcome back to the MLG Arena here in Columbus, Ohio. We are finalizing the CEVO Season 7 LAN Finals. Obviously, we're in the middle of Mouse versus Na'Vi. Na'Vi took a 1-0 lead so far on Overpass. Now we're going into the classic Dust 2.
Well, we're in the middle of it if Na'Vi wins 2-0. We're 1/3 of the way through if mousesports go through. Yeah. Scoots likes to
Always
sometimes
so
slip
technical.
little hints in there for the guys who like to bet.
Spoilers.
He likes to, you know, we're halfway through, so if you wanted to place a bet still, then you could in fact do so, you know.
All right, Dust 2. Let's get right into it. Thoughts on it?
I agree. And we're into the game. So anyway, so
But before you start talking,
sure.
actually, since they brought this graphic up, let me point it out again. They have a nice Twitter poll going, and it's a little different. It's not who you think will win, it's who you want to win. So more of a fan kind of based thing versus a statistical, like, who, you know, that kind of prediction. So as you can see, that's pretty close, 59-41. Obviously, you can see how to do it. Hashtags are all right there. Hashtag mousesports, hashtag Navi, and then hashtag MLG CEVO Lang. Now tell me about Dust 2.
Dust 2. I think we agree. It's going to be pretty close. Well, it should be. I think Navi historically hasn't really been that good on Dust 2. I know back when I used to play against them a lot, they like to just kind of throw smokes and just go through the smokes. Dust 2 also is one of those maps where it should be a lot of Guardian versus Chris J. Two of the main oppers. Guardian played really, really well in Overpass. Chris J, not so well, but maybe they'll step it up. But I think, again, like I compared mousesports to an American team. I think they're very experienced on the American maps. Dust 2, Inferno, Cash. Dust 2, they should be very comfortable. I have a lot of faith in them coming into this one, so I think this should be close.
Yeah, this is one of those maps where it's about whether or not Navi at the moment is strong on it, whether they're weak, it's supposed to be a Guardian map. This is one of those ones where when you watch Guardian Skadoodle, Kenny S, you're watching the T side, like how many times are they going to kill someone through the door? How many times are they going to leg someone? Because they're having a huge impact just at the beginning of the round. In terms of mousesports, I think it's a really good chance for them to win a map. On T side, they can be very effective on this map. And they showed us yesterday when they played Cloud9, the way they attacked Cloud9, it's not like they just had one thing they went to over and over. They just broke Cloud9 down. They're really good at scouting the areas out. Then in the sort of waning moments of the round, they would have really good decision making. And if you're just watching the overmap, you'd kind of think like they could see it almost, because the way a Cloud9 would pull back, that's where they'd be moving into. So they had really good kind of reading of the game. So if they can do that, I think they've got a good chance to make this 3.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. It is time, Dust 2, Map 2, for our first semifinal. Helium, Landers, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. Here we are on to Dust 2. This is where mousesports really need to put it to Navi, set the pace early here, find themselves a pistol on this T round, and just keep pouring on that aggression. If they can make the rounds costly, maybe even keep Guardian off of that op. We'll see how it'll work out for him. And Guardian thinking he has an op right now, going straight for that doors peak with that P2K.
Yeah, that's so powerful because you can know, first of all, which way teams are going to go, if they want to cycle back or not. The issue is that if they come through lower B like they're doing right now, then he's not in a good position to get a kill, though. A little bit aware of that. Oh, reloading really close to the door.
Yeah, they probably hear that. Let's see.
Oh, bad flash.
Oh, Chris J gives him the old crouch. And, you know, the Glock train can be terrifying. There's an easy solution, though, just hitting those couple bullets. And Chris J with another one, going to grab Edward through those B double doors. So 5-on-3. He's picked up that CT pistol, seized on the back of that platform. Not going to work out either. Zeus passing right across Chris J as he goes through that smoke. And are they about to take the flawless round? No. Flamey will find one. Can he get any more? He's also coming in with that USP. Let's see if he can get anyone. He's going to triple peaked pretty much. That bomb is down, and there it is. Almost the flawless round from mousesports, and very good. Chris J getting that nice entry there at middle.
That's why we always call him Entry J.
Everything J.
Whatever you wanted to do, Jay.
Exactly.
Jesus, Jay.
Is it going pig Latin now or what?
mousesports is a really strong pistol team. Like, we've seen them do so well on pistols. And with these higher tier teams, it seems like pistols are 50-50 no matter what team you are. Right? You grab a strat and you hopefully hit your shots. Oh.
Wow, Chris J tagged 2 people there through the doors. And let's see.
Oh, third. He's done.
Another is 3 for 3. That one just kind of shooting at the door, hoping for something. But that's already hurt Navi's chances on this round because it's a force from them, right? And now look how much HP they've already, 150, 170 HP already off the table for them.
Yeah, Speedy has actually been given some trouble here by Flamey, who has managed to push into the long doors. And he's got a player behind him who's going to flash him out. And he's going to get hit by Chris J.
So
Chris J has tagged 4 players so far on this round. At about 200 damage with that scout. If it's the case that mousesports are funneled into a mid to B situation, they are actually going up against the stack. Zeus is the only one who is not going to contest them, but it looks like they might have changed their mind. They cleared out close mid doors. And we have someone going up cat, though. Looks like it's Chris.
Where's Zeus at? He needs a tagging. He's in CT spawn here. Let's see if Chris can get it. Zeus though gonna peek out, and it's actually, he goes untouched. He'll bring down Chris J himself. Speedy though next, and Gob all capitalizing. Look at all the assists coming in. Chris J on almost everything.
Yeah.
Surely there's an achievement for this, right?
Yeah, yeah, just ADR king. I mean, he got like 250 ADR that round. That was a pretty solid from him. I think that was a big reason. They ran into a stack and a couple dinks were ahead, but no one died. And that's probably because Navi's players didn't have as much time as they would have if they had more life to do more damage. So if there was a stat for that.
So that puts them back onto the first full eco here for Na'Vi. Means that fourth rifle round not going to be, all that impressive in terms of your weaponry. If you're Na'Vi, we can see CEVO up on this box, a position where it will go unchecked, but he doesn't even have an upgraded pistol, so it'll take a bit of work, even with the USP.
Yeah. Now, what I want to pay attention to is the setups from Na'Vi. What we're going to see them do, obviously, on this round, it's going to be some type of free-for-all, but so far it's a 2-stack on Cat. Kind of passive here.
Yeah, I wonder what we'll see in the rifles. Will they take the 2 players Cat like they are doing now, or will they go again instead where we always see like forward long positions and 1 CT spawn, 2 over towards B? We will have to wait and see. Zeus has gone down already. Molotov off that pizza into the bomb site. Dennis continuing to hit these shots, finds Flamey. Gob checking everything. Guardian though down in the pit. And no one's even coming through long. If anyone does, it looks like it'll be Spitty, who's still lurking back there, being very, very patient.
Yeah, they've got Dennis on Cat. Speedy top mid is going to take a fight. Gets a short spray down with the UMP onto C's. Finds a headshot. Now Edward is in lower, and he knows the one's at long. That's Chris J to take care of that. mousesports off to a clean 3-0 start.
That they are exactly what they need to do. Getting onto their map pick, starting off very, very strong. The money, you can see, not great, right? Guardian is going for this glass cannon op. This first rifle so important. And actually, this is crazy, because glass cannon op versus Scout. Scout so much better in this position.
Yeah, actually, I mean, if he's able to find a tag without taking one, that's for sure.
That's true.
You can't actually move and shoot, but you can move much more quickly with a Scout, so there is distinct advantages and disadvantages that will favor whoever hits the first bullet. Now, Zeus is going to be smoking off Cat, moving towards mid, and we see a similar, like kind of a 2-on-2, but they are just playing like not static. Oh, there's Zeus going to get boosted up on the box. Make sure this is really great position, because if they smoke CT, he'll be able to look through the smoke, and if they jump into CT from behind him, he's going to be in a really good position to just take some shots off and catch people off guard.
Yeah, because in that position, when you just crouch, turn around, and watch, that CT ramp going into A, you're still covered for middle, and they're not going to like turn and check that if they haven't been shot at. So let's continue on this round. About a minute off the clock right now. mousesports maintaining that middle control. Na'Vi went into basically everybody's default CT setup. You got 1 push into the long pit, 1 at car, CT, and 2 over towards B. So very standard. And Zeus using the spot that getting extremely popular amongst all the teams. Smokes all coming in though. Still able to see up it.
Zeus eats that full flash, but can still see over the smoke.
Yeah, and everyone running up. He'll get the clear shot eventually. Now he will find Dennis, and with that silence gun, maybe still not even sure where it came from. So the mid to B split completely shut down. Chris J, though, finding that op shot onto Guardian, does take him down.